Hi, it's Dina here to talk about Cricut Design Space, the basics and beyond. Today's video, I'm going to show you some of the fun things that you can do with the slice function. I consider this more of a beyond or advanced function. So once you're comfortable with the basics, you can expand your skills by learning how to use the slice function. So let's get started. There are several ways that slice can be used. You could use it to cut out a name out of a shape or a shape out of a shape. You can use it to break an image apart. It can be used for larger than matte projects, and an example of that would be, say you're doing a birthday party and you want to make a giant Mickey Mouse, like 4 feet tall, 3 feet tall, but the mat can only cut so tall and so wide, and that's beyond the ability of it. So you could use the slice function to break that image apart and cut it into several sections, and it's almost like puzzle piecing it back together to build a giant image of the cutout that you want for your party decor. There are a lot of videos on that. It's a fun project to do, and once I get through some more of the basics of Design Space, that may be a project that I will do in the future. It can also be used to eliminate an element out of a design, and it just is a good tool to expand your editing capabilities in Design Space. The most important thing you need to know about the slice function is that you can only slice 2 layers at a time. If you have more than 2 layers selected, you are not going to be able to the slice function won't even be available for you. So keep that in mind as you're designing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I thought about we'll just try doing some basic tags. I chose a Christmas theme. I don't know why, but it just sounded fun. So we're going to start by going to Images, and we are going to do a search for tag, and we're going to turn the filter on here. We want to do free. Whoops, it was already on there. So there are a lot of different options for you here. When it comes to the tags, all of these are free. So I kind of like the shape of this one here, so I'm going to select that. And just to show you what else you can do with this, I did want to show you, there was a flower down here. So if you say you like the shape of this flower and you choose that one, and I just want to show you what we can do with that as well. So I'm going to insert the 2 of these tags into Design Space, separate these 2 apart, and I just want to start with this flower. We're not really going to use this for the Christmas tags, but I want to show you that I previously did a video on contour, and this is just another way contour can be used. So this tag is not super functional because it has a big hole in the middle of it, but say you like the shape of it, and if you look down at the bottom of the layers panel, contour is available. So we click on that, and we can make this a solid shape by simply eliminating the circle from the middle. Once we click on it and it is darkened out here, we can close this out, and now you have a solid flower to be able to work with. So if you see an image or a tag that you wanted to work with, it's not quite what you're looking for, there is always the option of contouring something out of it. So I just wanted to show you that before we got started. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And we're going to make this tag just a little bit bigger so we can see what we're working with here. Now this tag is a dual layer tag. So over in the layers panel, you'll see this is the one that's on the screen. This one is turned off. I'm actually going to turn it back on. and you can see that there's a shadow layer behind it, which is just another way to add to the cuteness of the tag, I guess. So these are grouped together. I'm going to ungroup them, and I'm going to leave that shadow layer there I'm going to push it off to the side because that's not the one we're working with. We're going to work with the top layer, and so like I said, we're going to do Christmas tags. So we're going to go back to our images, and this time we got to turn the free filter off, and then we are going to look for a deer. There are a lot of them in here, so we are going to scroll down, and there was one that I found, well, there's a couple of them actually. So if you're making tags for boys and girls, hopefully we can accommodate everybody here. So I scrolled down quite a bit until I'm looking for more of like a prancing type of deer. And I have to find, where did I find that guy? This is the one that I liked that's kind of girly, so I'm going to select that one. And then I'm going to continue on, and right down here somewhere, there he is, this guy right here. So we're going to choose him, reindeer, and we're going to insert those two images onto our canvas. Separate them out. You can see they're pretty big. So we'll need to resize them. So we can just shrink this guy down, and then we're going to take him and we're going to move him on top of the tag. And you can eyeball it, or if you want to get more precise, you can select the tag and the deer, by dragging a box around the both, clicking the align button, and center him horizontally. And then with both of those selected, and if you look in your layers panel here, you can see I've got the deer selected and I have the tag selected, and we go down and we see that slice is darkened in and available. So we are going to slice this guy right into that tag. So it doesn't look like anything happened, but it actually did. So we just click on the deer, we can move him off to the side, and now you can see that this guy has been cut out of the tag. You can also click this and move it away, and you'll see that this is what's going to cut. So when we take our background layer and we move it in behind, you can see how it just adds a cute element. You've got a colorful deer behind. You've sliced this deer right out of the tag. We no longer need these, so we'll just get rid of those two. We're not going to use those anymore. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can actually go into the text and you can search for a font. So say you wanted to put someone's initial on it, so everybody has their own tag with their initial on it. Just makes gifting easier on Christmas morning when you're handing out the gifts. So you can type in just whatever letter, so type in an S, for example, and that's a pretty plain S, but we can go through and filter through these fonts here to see. One thing that I do, I've kind of researched a little bit, and I know I like this font that I have downloaded called Blueberry. So if I start typing that in, I see it here. So there's my S, and then I'm going to just take the S and put it right on top. And again, I will select the S and my tag by holding down the Shift key. I can just get the two of them, and I do not have the green layer selected. And I just want to align this again horizontally, and then I might actually want to move it up just a smidge. I can use my arrow keys and bump it up, that way it stays centered horizontally. And then again, select just the 2 layers. Now I will show you what would happen if I actually tried to select all 3 by just dragging the box around all 3 layers. If you look down at the bottom of the layers panel, slice is not available. And that is because we have 3 layers. We have the green tag, the brown tag, and the letter S. So slice is not available. And if you remember, I said it only works with 2 layers. So we are going to only select the brown tag. Holding down my shift key, I will select the S. Now I have the 2 layers selected and slice is darkened in and available. And I will select slice. And now I have sliced this S out of this brown color here. And now there's your tag. It's very cute. It'd be an easy way to identify who the gift was for. And this can be done with anything. I just chose Christmas, but it can be done with birthday, or it can be done with, you know, it could be done with a graduation, for example. So there are a lot of options available to help you to design in Design Space to make cute little tags and gifts and decor. So I'm going to eliminate these 2 S's because I no longer need those. And so this is one here. We've completed that one, and I'm just going to group those and move it off to the side. And we want to do one for girls. So we're going to take this deer. We can go back into images and search for the tag again, or we can simply just go in and select this design here and duplicate it. And then with our brown layer, we can go in and just contour out the slicing that we just did. So we'll just get rid of the deer and his inner pieces here. Let me scroll back down, get rid of all the little cuts that it did. And of course, we've got to get rid of the S. You can also do it right here in this panel. And when we close that out, now we have a solid tag again. So then we can take the girly deer and shrink her down. And she disappeared there. So when that happens, she's just not on the top. So we go to Arrange and we say Send to the front. And there she is. And so I'm going to just shrink her a little bit more and stick her there. And then I need to select my tag again, so I just hold down the shift key, click on the brown piece. I actually have the whole thing because it is grouped together. So unclick from that. We are going to click on our girly deer, and actually we're going to hold down the shift key and we can do it right here. Click the brown. That is not showing that I have the brown selected. All right, I'll make this easier. Ungroup it. Find my deer, bring her back to the front. There she is. Now I can shift and click the brown. I have both the deer and the brown tag selected, and I am going to align these. I'm just going to center her horizontally, and they're both still selected, so I just come down here to slice, click on slice, and now we have sliced her out of this tag. We can get rid of those, we don't need them. And then if we wanted, we can go in and actually just write someone's name instead of an initial. So go into the text. There are some types of stencil fonts. So if you, in the search bar, you go in and you type stencil, you'll see Some of these fonts work well. This one's cute. It's called Girly Stencil. It comes as a part of Access, so you can choose that one. And then I'll just type in a name. And it is a little bit large, so we'll just shrink it down a little bit and then move it over to the top of our tag. And again, we'll probably want to center this horizontally. So with Emma selected, and then we hit the Shift button, select the brown tag off to the side, and then to go to Align, center horizontally. They're still both selected, so we just go down and we hit Slice. And now we have sliced her name in stencil form right on out of this tag. And now she has her own personal tags. These are very cute. You can change the color based on whatever paper you're cutting to something a little more festive and fun. You could do green, or you can do, and you can change the green tag as well to a different color, something that you think would be cute. You can do green and white or red and white. A lot of different options, and that is one way that Slice can be used to help you to decorate Christmas tags or birthday tags or any other kind of tags you wanted to do. So the other thing that I wanted to show you is that Slice can be used to break apart an image. So if we go, I'm going to actually turn these off. I'm going to group this one back together and then turn off, oops, I missed it. I forgot to group it, that's why. Let me just undo. Undo is a savior sometimes. There's always an undo button. So group them together, then I can turn it off. This one should already be grouped together, and I'm just going to move it out of the way by turning it off, clearing, oops, I turned the wrong one. Clearing the canvas. All right, so we're going to go back into images, and I'm going to give you an example of how Slice can be used to remove an element from a design. So we're going to scroll down back to the image that was similar to the girl deer that I chose. Let's see, where did she go? Like I said, there's a lot of them in here, so there it is. Okay, so I think this is cute, and I think this would look really cute in a tag, but these floating pieces would not work well, and these pieces here, it would leave you with a piece that's floating, and then you would end up with just this weird circle. So we're going to insert this image, and I'm going to show you how we can use Slice to actually get rid of some of these things. I still think that contour is quicker and easier than Slice, but sometimes, like, we cannot contour this part out because it's connected to the tree, and it would end up getting rid of everything that's connected, which essentially is the majority of this design. So we do not need these two circles. We can just quickly contour those out. So click the contour button. I am going to scroll down here to get, these come in so large, and it's to help you be able to see, but I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit and then scroll back up here to bring this image in. So basically I'm just trying to contour out this and the circle on these two images here, and then click off the screen, and we've gotten rid of them. But we haven't gotten rid of these, and if we were to take this and try to put this into a tag, shrink it down a little bit, or even I can just use a shape, for example. We'll take this shape, we'll pick a square, we're going to unlock the aspect ratio so we can stretch this thing out to make it a rectangle. And I'm going to change the color to red just to brighten it up. And then I'm going to take this deer and arrange it to the front because it's now behind. And we set it on there, and we have two images, just the two, the deer and the rectangle. If we select the two of them, we can slice this out, but I'll show you what's going to happen. We remove this and we remove that, and now we have these floating little stars in there, snowflakes. And it wouldn't, unless you were cutting this out of vinyl or you were going to glue this, you could glue them on to if you had a backing piece, like a second layer. But if that's not what you were going to do, then we can just go in and try to slice these circles out completely so we just have the deer and the trees. So I'm just going to back step a little and undo the last few steps that I did to where before I sliced it. I think there we go. Okay, so we're going to go back to, we're going to make this bigger so we can see what we're working with. Let's move it up here. Okay, so the best way to slice something out is to, this here is a straight edge, so I'm looking for a shape with a straight edge. So I'm just going to go to my shapes. I'm just going to choose a square. Doesn't matter the color. I do need to shrink it down quite a bit because that is definitely too big. So it has to be bigger than the circle. And so we just basically would butt it up over, it's completely covering that circle. And then we have this, the square is selected. We can only slice two images, so there's one, and we want to slice this circle out. So hit your shift key and click on the deer. The two of them are now selected. They're darkened in our layers panel, and we select slice. And you can see we can remove this and we can remove this one. And now we've completely eliminated that from this design. So we can get rid of those. And then we'll go in, we want to get rid of this one. So we'll just go in, select another shape. We'll take the square because we want that straight edge. Unlock it because we need this to be much thinner. And we just have to find a size that's going to cover up just this circle but not any part of that tree. And we can see that that's too big, so we just need to slide this in a little bit and just keep working with it until you get it to a size that covers the circle but not those trees. And this is really close, so just nudge it over just a little bit right there so it's not touching the tree. It's butted up against the stem of this tree. It is selected. Hit your shift key, click on the deer. Slice is now available. Slice it, and then you just remove the parts that you don't need, and now you have just that image. And so you have successfully eliminated something from an image that could not have been contoured out, and completely changed the look of the element to be able to be used in a tag or a slice feature. So once you put it in the way you want it, if this was your tag, we've got the two of them selected over here in the panel. You can see the layers panel, the deer and the red rectangle are selected. We go ahead and slice it, and now we have a really cute little image sliced out, and it would be a cute tag. You could use the pen to write to from, or you can slice in another name like we did before. Um, you can use it in scrapbooking. There's a lot of different ways that this can be used. So I just wanted to show you how Slice works. I hope you learned something from this video, and I will be loading more videos up as time goes on, and I can come up with different features of Design Space that I want to show you how to use. And some are more of the beyond, and some are going to be very basic, but I want to be able to help everybody because using a Cricut there's just so much that can be done with it, and depending on which Cricut you have, but even the most basic Cricut, which I do have one, is an amazing tool, and it can be used to create some really fantastic gifts and decorations, and I just really enjoy crafting in all kinds of different ways. So I hope that you continue to follow these videos and that you are learning something from them. So that's the slice feature, and we will catch you next time. I hope you have a great day.